Hi guys, there are many videos trying to explain Israel-Palestine conflict. Most of them are incorrect and biased. So I decided to create my own, the most neutral video about that topic. If I skip some important fact or do some gross manipulation, just let me know in the comment and we can discuss. Let's start from the origins of Palestinian nation. Before 1920, the land of Palestine was part of Ottoman Empire, which was several centuries backwards compared to Europe. There were only 2% of literacy, medieval infrastructure, and complete lack of industrialization. Let's make it clear, there were no nations in the Western sense of this word. No Palestinians, no Syrians, no Lebanese. Instead, people were defined by their religion. There were Muslims, Christians, Jews, and Druze. They all lived in the same place and used the same language called Arabic. Then in 1920, Ottoman Empire got collapsed and British and French got a mandate to rule over most of the part of the Middle East. Their goal was to create a bunch of different independent states and leave the area. The only thing Europeans knew were nation-states, and nations were defined by common language, culture and religion. There was a common language there, Arabic, but the rest was not there. Like people in Egypt had no clue about people in Syria who spoke the same language, and they had no idea that they are one big nation called Arabs. So Europeans wanted to create a bunch of small states based on religion. For example, Lebanon's supposed to be a Christian state, and in Syria they wanted to have 4 different states, one for Alawites, one for Druze, and 2 for Muslims. Jews around the world haven't formed any majority in any of the places, so it was pretty hard to create any nation state. Nor they had any common language because Hebrew died probably 2000 years ago, and Jews in Germany spoke Yiddish, and in Palestine, Arabic. Nonetheless, Jews came up with a very ambitious plan called Zionism. They wanted to revive Hebrew language, return to Israel, and create a nation-state there. This idea wasn't that popular at the beginning, but later it started to get some popularity, because all the people around them started to form nation-states, and Jews were no longer welcomed in their host countries. Basically, at the end of 19th century, the nationalism was on rise from Eastern Europe to Middle East, and Jews and all foreign elements were declared as enemies. It's very common to see the polemic where Jews are saying that Palestinians has never been a nation, and then Palestinians are saying that Jews is just a religion, and the Jewish nation is basically a Western colonization project. The truth is that both nations are relatively recent, and they were both kind of creation of the Western culture. But there is nothing bad about it. There are a bunch of myths that Jews were expelling Arabs during the British Mandate, and that State of Israel was basically a gift to compensate for the Holocaust. No matter how these claims might sound appealing, we need to look at facts. And the fact is that Jews bought lots of land in Palestine. Here is the map from 1944. Blue and green are both Jewish possessions. Basically, you had a shitty and dry land which no one wants to buy unless for ideological purpose. The price was low and Zionists bought it. Therefore, the reason behind the creation of State of Israel is purely a capitalistic one. In 1947, UN proposed to create Jews and Arab states on the land of Palestine. And here is the map of it. You might object the Jewish land is larger than the possessions that they had, and this is a steal. But if you look at the details, all this added land is basically an unpopulated desert. All Arab cities are belong to Arab state. Obviously, there were many Arabs living in these lands, and they might have been unhappy with that decision, but they were all promised the right of citizenship and the right to retain their properties. So it looks quite fair. Israel agreed with this map and declared independence on 14 May of 1948. And on the following days, Arab countries declared war against Israel. They asked all the local Arab population to leave their houses so that they can come and kill all the Jews, and then they can return safely. Luckily, they didn't manage to kill all the Jews, and after 9 months, Israel made a decisive victory and captured more lands. If you look at the map of the newly added territories, again, it's mostly deserts, but this time there are a couple of important cities, including the west part of Jerusalem. The most tragic outcome here was the creation of 700,000 of Palestinians refugees at the end of war. This was basically 50% of all Muslim population in Palestine back then. And Israel passed laws to prohibit those people to return to their home and get any compensation for their lost properties. If you read modern left articles, these events are described as ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Basically, Jews wanted to move out all the Palestinians to clean the land so that they can import more Jewish settlers. If you look at the details, it's a little bit different. Apparently, 300,000 of Palestinians left their homes even before the war had started, meaning that they were all okay with all Jews being exterminated. Would you invite these people back? I'm not sure. Speaking about of the rest 400k refugees, they either left their homes later for the same reason, or they were actively participating in crimes against Jewish civilians. If you don't believe me, just open the leftist Wikipedia, you can find this amazing article and you can see this map of all the depopulated villages. You can click basically on 5 of them and check what actually happened with each of them. Another argument against ethnic cleansing that you have Druze and Christian Arab populations who were not displaced at all and they were actually supporting Israel, despite the fact being 100% Palestinian, born and raised, and had nothing to do with Judaism in any sense. Finally, there were 110,000 Muslim Arabs who decided to stay in the land of Israel and got their citizenship and full rights. Nonetheless, the question is, should we allow those people to return or should they get any compensation? If you look at pretty much every other similar conflict to this, the answer is unfortunately no. That's not the common international practice. The easiest example would be 900,000 of Germans who were expelled from Czech Republic at the end of Second World War. Personally, as a libertarian, I believe that property rights are sacred, and Israel as a democratic state must compensate financially to all Palestinian refugees. But right of return? Probably not. And Israel actually proposed a bunch of fair compensation agreements which were all rejected by Palestinians. To understand why it's like this, we need to first answer to the most important question. The occupation of West Bank and Gaza. This is the most confusing story and everyone gets it wrong. After Israel won the war for independence, no one actually created any Palestinian state. Instead, Jordan and Egypt occupied the remaining lands. If you think about this, it actually makes sense, because why would you create a new state out of nowhere if you have 2 successful states nearby which can easily annex these 2 parts, and they share the same religion and the same language? So Jordan was extremely interested in that idea, and in 1949 they properly occupied the whole West Bank. They gave Jordanian citizenship to everyone and actually declared East Jerusalem as the second capital of the kingdom. 3 countries, UK, Pakistan and Iraq, actually recognized this annexation. And the life was great in West Bank until the year 1967, when Arabs decided that it's time for revenge and they started 6-day war against Israel. Jordan didn't really want to participate in this, but it was forced by Egypt because of the mutual agreements. After 6 days, Arab countries lost it badly, and Israel occupied West Bank, Gaza Strip, Golan Heights and the Sinai Peninsula. This time, Israel decided not to annex any of this territory and just keep all of them in a temporary occupation and negotiate better deals with their neighbors and eventually give them back. Just to reiterate, annexation is when you give the citizenship to all the people and extend the law of the country for the newly acquired territory. And occupation is none of this. You basically keep the people, limit their rights, they basically have no any laws because there is no country and the only thing which applies to them is a military law. West Bank and Gaza are under temporary occupation for the last 57 years, and you might be wondering why. Clearly you had Jordan who considered West Bank as their own territory and really want to get it back. And Jordan actually started peace negotiations right after 6 days war. An alone plan was proposed. Basically East Jerusalem along with some desert goes to Israel and the rest of the cities of West Bank goes to Jordan. Jordan disagreed, but they were still open for the further negotiations. But then something extremely weird happened and the whole negotiation stopped. So, during the Jordanian occupation of West Bank, the Arab League created a Palestinian Liberation Organization, which was not there to fight Jordanian occupation, but instead they wanted to free the whole Israel and kill all the Jews. Basically a terrorist organization with guerrilla fighting. When Israel captured the West Bank, they had to flee to Jordan. And you won't believe me, but its leader Yasser Arafat decided that Israel is too strong and too far away. Why don't we take some power in Jordan? He made a Palestinian civil war against Jordanian king and lost it. At the end, PLO was expelled to Lebanon, and Arafat claimed that there were 25,000 Palestinian civilians died because of Jordanian government. And Jordan is the most evil country, not Israel. Obviously, it was not true. But in 1974, the Arab League decided that Jordan has no longer rights to govern West Bank, and the only organization which can run it is PLO. Obviously, Soviet Union and left welcomed this decision, but the rest of civilized countries like Israel and United States said like, we're not gonna allow the organizations who wants to kill all the Jews to run Palestine. No way. So PLO was expelled to Lebanon and started a civil war there. This time they managed to capture South Lebanon and started to attack Israel with rockets and guerrilla fighting. Finally, after losing all the supports from Lebanon and Syria, they were expelled again, this time to Tunisia in 1982. Despite everything I've just said, PLO was still remaining the only official representative of the Palestinian state. And Jordan finally gave up all its claims back in 1988. The new home of PLO, Tunisia, is really far away from Palestine, so they had to come up with a different plan. They suddenly decided to be a peaceful organization now and renamed themselves into Palestinian National Authority. Finally, in 1993, the initial peace agreement between Israel and Palestine was signed. The whole world was celebrating the end of the conflict, and the former terrorist Yasser Arafat even got a Nobel Peace Prize for that back in 1994. This time, Israel said, okay, we will let you to run independent Palestine, but we will give you a 5 years trial period. During this period, you will be governing the cities and the villages, and we will be governing the rest of the desert and some roads. As you might have guessed, this was quite a bad idea. They never managed to sign any subsequent peace deals, and at some point, organizations in Palestine started a full-scale terrorist war against Israeli civilians. Nonetheless, in 2005, Israel decided, why don't we make Gaza an independent state and see what's gonna happen, and leave the West Bank as it is right now. Finally, Gaza got the full control of the borders, including the one with Egypt, and can do whatever they want inside their territory. In 2007, though, a religious Islamist group called Hamas de facto started to run things in Gaza. And Egypt said, sorry guys, we have a bunch of different world-class resorts around Sinai Peninsula and we don't really want to have any terrorism. And they decided to close the border and imposed air and sea blockade of Gaza. Egypt even went further and built a wall across the border with Gaza to prevent all kind of smuggling. When the left gonna tell you next time that we all need to stop the Gaza blockade, don't think about evil Zionist regime who wants to kill peaceful Palestinians, but just think about pragmatic Egyptians who wants to keep their land terrorist-free. After 16 years of independence, Gaza is still a very poor place, and getting all its electricity from the occupying state of Israel. Why can't they build even a power station? And the answer is simple, because they want to spend their money on these 1,800 rockets which they launched toward Israel last week without much of damage. To summarize, Palestinian conflict could have been solved in 70s or 80s if Arab League and the left allowed Jordan to negotiate for the West Bank instead of praising the terrorist organization of PLO, which don't know how to do anything but fighting. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time, bye!